In this video, I share with you my strategies on how to purchase hardwood at the best price possible. Now, I'm not talking about how to buy cheap hardwood. I'm talking about how to buy hardwood for cheap, and there's a huge difference. I'm not talking about cutoffs or scraps or anything like that. I'm talking about high quality, full length, hardwood, at least as good as anything you'll see in a retail outlet. This has been my sole source of hardwood for the past 5 years. I haven't paid retail prices in at least 5 years, and my discounts have been at least 50%, sometimes even better than that. If I can do it, anyone can do it. It doesn't take any special knowledge. It's just a matter of knowing where to go and who to talk to and how to find them. And that's exactly what I share in this video. If you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate if you would. If you get value from this video, then you will get value in my future videos as well. I've got a couple of really exciting builds coming up that I'm going to be highlighting, and more cost-saving strategies similar to this one. So I hope you enjoy this video. Feel free to leave a comment or question. I do read every comment and reply as quick as I can. So here are all of my strategies. One of the areas that I've had a lot of success in lately, and I think it's a trend that's really starting to develop, not just in Alberta, but I would guess throughout North America, maybe even globally, I don't know. But mom and pop sawmills. There's a lot of farmers or people that have acreages that have a lot of trees on them that they're clearing, and they'll buy one of these little mini sawmills and make their own dimensional lumber as well as slabs. Now, the best way to find them is to do a search on Craigslist or Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, and just do a search on slabs. Just that one word, slabs. And it should return a handful of people that are cutting their own wood and making both slabs and dimensional lumber. As an example, I found a farmer west of me that was doing just that, clearing his land, bought a sawmill, and he actually made a nice little cabin from the dimensional lumber that he made from his sawmill. But he also had a bunch of really nice slabs that he was willing to sell. So I ended up buying a birch slab from him that was 2 inches thick by probably about 16 inches at the widest, and narrowed down to about 12 inches. And it was 14 feet long, so pretty big chunk of wood. Perfectly flat, there's no warps, there's no cracks. It was really good quality birch, and he had actually had it drying in his shed for 3 years, so it was ready to use as well. But he sold that to me for $100, which is incredibly good deal. But in addition to that, he had a lot of scraps that he didn't have an interest in, and I did, so it worked out well from that standpoint too. So check out the mom and pop sawmills. Now, the downside in Alberta is that most of the wood here is going to be spruce, pine, fir, or birch, or aspen. But for you guys that are, down south in the States or in the East, where you have the maples and the walnuts and oak and all of those fun, exciting woods, then that could really be a gold mine for you guys. So do a search, see if you can pay a visit to one of these folks, and see what you can find. You never know. But they'll for sure have cheaper prices than you would pay at a retail outlet. So we're all familiar with cabinet makers being a great source for scraps and cutoffs, which is true, and I do get quite a few from cabinet shops. But I've got 2 strategies that I've never seen published before, and they've both worked for me quite well in the past, so I'm sure they'll work for you as well. Now, these scenarios work ideal if you happen to have a relationship with the owner or someone at the cabinet shop. But if you don't, it's just a matter of reaching out to as many as you can and just asking these questions. I always ask if they have any surplus wood that's been sitting on their shelf that they haven't touched for a while that they'd be willing to sell. And from my experience, oftentimes they do. And it's usually a case where they had a project for a client that had a type of wood that they don't use that common, and they've just got some surplus left over from that project, or they've had a project canceled, or they just seem to collect wood that they don't use for whatever reason. But you'll find that most cabinet shops have a surplus of good quality hardwood that they haven't used in a while, and they rather turn it into cash than just take up wasted space. So there's been several times where I've purchased hardwood from cabinet shops, and from my experience, it's about a 40 or 50% discount from retail. Obviously, it depends on what it is and the retail value of it, but I can guarantee that you'll get a better price than you would at a retail outlet. The other strategy that's worked for me, and this one takes a relationship usually with the owner, but if you've got a cabinet shop that you have a relationship with the owner, then from my experience, they're willing to purchase hardwood for me. And the savings comes with their buying power. They can buy hardwood for cheaper than I can, there's no question. And the bigger the shop, the better the pricing they get. I've had scenarios where I've asked cabinet shops to purchase hardwood for me, and even if they have a small 5 or 10% markup, it's still the best price that I can find, and they're making a bit of cash from it as well. So it's a bit of a win-win scenario. But leveraging the buying power from cabinet shops, or any manufacturer that uses hardwood for that matter, if you've got any connections that have buying power and access to wholesale pricing, that's a really good source that you could possibly tap into. So it's worth building relationships, and it's worth asking the questions as well. It's a thing where creativity and persistence pays off. And again, if it works for me, it should work for you as well. So the area that I've had the most success as far as hardwood, do searches on Craigslist, Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, and specifically on Facebook Marketplace, I have been fortunate a few times and found there's always hobbyists that they've got that to that age where they just can't do it anymore. It's too difficult to do, so they get rid of their whatever surplus they've got left. And as I say, I've had a couple of really successful situations like that. One in particular, I ended up buying probably, I would say about $1,600 worth of hardwood, and he sold it to me for $400. So an incredible deal. And it was all really good, good quality walnut, maple, oak, padauk, like all the good exciting stuff that we all like. And the added bonus there is they're usually also getting rid of some tools too. In fact, he was selling everything that he had. So I bought all of his hardwood that he had in stock, and I bought quite a few tools from him as well. Again, at a really good price, and made a good friend too with common interests. So enjoyed visiting with them. So the other area that's probably been my second most successful, and this is a source mostly for maple, but check out restaurant auctions. And I did a video a few weeks ago on my auction purchases, but restaurant auctions often have tables that are usually made of solid maple, and it's 2 inches thick maple. And these are some of the purchases I've been able to make through restaurant auctions. And these tables here were 3 feet wide by 7 feet long, each table. So it's a lot of maple, and I got an incredible price on it. But I've also found, and not just restaurant auctions, I've also had 2 occasions where I've found cabinet shops that went out of business, and they were auctioning off all of their inventory and their tools. And I got some amazing prices and a big volume of wood there too. So keep a tab on your local auctions and regularly check in, see what they've got coming up. Like I say, there's often restaurant auctions, but there's also other companies that are going out of business that have a large stockpile of both dimensional lumber and the hardwoods as well. So auctions are a really good source.